What's going on, family? Peace and love to the family. About to have a discussion. Peace and love to the family. I wanted to get on this live, not take up too much of y'all time, but I get this question all the time. Fucking penny. I get this all the time. How one can transition to a cleanse, or how can one transition to a plant-based, livid lifestyle. And there is a proper way and there's a wrong way to do it. To the point, if you don't do it correctly, you can't harm yourself, or you can set yourself back and have a relapse, which when I was first on this journey, that's something I experienced as well. So I'm gonna wait till some more people on here. Britt, what's going on, Queen? Peace and love to you. Peace and love to you. Y'all make sure y'all share this. Y'all make sure y'all share this. Because this is usually the most pivotal part when anybody is trying to transition. This is usually the toughest part when somebody's trying to transition. That transitional period is usually the toughest part for anybody. So y'all tune in, y'all check in. Make sure y'all share it. Make sure y'all share the video. Everybody get into it. Just want to make sure I share with people because I get this question all the time. How to transition. Peace and blessings, family. Peace and blessings. So y'all see what's going on? So the topic today is how to transition to a cleanse and how to transition to a plant-based living lifestyle. This is something very, very important to know. We have a lot of people out here, a lot of herbalists, a lot of activists when it comes to health activists, I'll say, when it comes to how to transition. And a lot of people like trying to, I get it. People trying to motivate people. People are trying to push people to a better lifestyle. But a lot of people just can't jump into it because there's a lot of variables that you got to consider. You got to consider that we have been addicts. Just like we got crack addicts, and crack addicts is nothing but hyper sugar addicts. If you look at it, where crack come from, they're hyper sugar addicts. So now when you put that in proper perspective, how many of us are hooked on to sugars? How many of us is hooked on to meats? How many of us is hooked on to cooked foods? How many of us is just hooked on to the culture, the deaf culture that we've been taught since we came out of our mother's womb? So there's a lot of variables that you got to consider when you're telling somebody to transition to this life. It's not that easy. And that's actually one of the main reasons why I created my book. Because when I went on my journey, when I started to transition away from meats, when I started to transition away from different sugars and things of that nature, I went cold turkey at first. I went cold turkey for like 3 months. Went cold turkey. No, I'll take that back. We went cold turkey for like 4 months. It was one of them nights. And this is like 5 years ago. It was one of them nights. Got a little tipsy, got a little drunk. Smelled some chicken, smelled that sauce. If you're from Cleveland, you understand what I'm talking about. Smelled that chicken sauce, and I went crazy like a chicken head. And I broke down. I ended up eating some meat crazy because my rib. She ended up eating some meat the same night. So that really threw me off because, especially back then, I was very, very, and I'm still focused. I'm a very focused young man, but I was very focused and very determined and very on mission. Back then, like I was very strict on what I put in my body, especially when I had a goal in mind. So when I say during that first 3 or 4 months, like I was very strict. And mind you, during that time, we didn't have as much access as we do now to different variables of vegan food or how to put certain recipes together, especially in Cleveland. They're just now becoming hot when it comes to vegan restaurants. Back then, it was no vegan restaurants. You know what I'm saying? You just be lucky to order something during that time. So I fell off. You know what I'm saying? I fell off like major. You know what I'm saying? It took me, and from that point, it had took me years to really transition and get back on the horse. You see what I'm saying? I'm talking about we went from being plant-based, fell off, got to being carnivores again, to going pescatarian, to going vegetarian, to back on meat, to going vegetarian. It was like a lot of back and forth. But during that time, I was learning. During that time, I was still transitioning. And so understand, when I wrote my first book, that was coming from nothing but studies, research, and transition and experience. You see what I'm saying? So I wanted to write my book not from an expertise standpoint, but I wanted to speak to the people who was having a hard time. I wanted to speak to the people who were struggling and did not know what to do as myself. And there's a lot of people like that. One of the first things I usually hear when somebody's trying to transition to this life is, what do I do? How do I make my food? How do I transition? This is so hard. And I get it. Although it's not hard when you actually have the proper instructions, but I get why people would feel that way, because there's not a lot of people out here giving the proper way to transition. They just telling people to do it, give everything up, and not thinking about the effects. Because there's a lot of healing crisis that goes on during anytime you're detoxing yourself. Even if you're not on a thorough cleanse, but even if you're transitioning, you're going to go through detoxification symptoms like dropping weight. You see what I'm saying? Like sometimes you're going to have headaches. You may feel like you're low on energy because you have been overstimulating yourself for years. You have been overstimulating yourself, overstimulating your thyroid, overstimulating your parathyroid, overstimulating your pineal gland so much, and not in a proper way, that the minute you start to put natural foods in your body and start to sterilize or balance out them hormones, it feels as if you're draining yourself. But no, your body just not used to actually balancing itself out, because it's been used to over the last 10, 20, 30, 40 plus years, overstimulating these hormones and it's secreting them, that the minute it starts to regulate itself, you feel like you're dying. You feel like you're literally going to die, because now your body is starting to function in a way that should have been functioning out the womb. So when we're telling people these things, that they should just give up the meats, they should just give up the grains, they should just give up the bread, etc., you got to put in the variables of what that looks like. And there's not a lot of people out here teaching people the proper way to transition. So I want to do this video to just kind of give y'all a glimpse on how to transition. One of the things you got to do is this. First, you got to identify what is causing your sickness. Believe it or not, most sicknesses is due to what you eat. Facts. The second portion of that is due to your environment. Facts. So that's usually the first thing that we're talking about when it's talking about transition and we're talking about healing. You need to not only change your diet, but you need to change your environment, because those two go hand in hand. You cannot have one without the other. How do we know that? Because your relationship, if you broke up bad, the first thing you want to do is what? Have cookies and ice cream, right? If you're having an anniversary or a birthday party, the first thing you want to do is celebrate. So you go out to eat. So you cannot set apart food from your environment. You see that? So now we have to change your food and we have to change your environment. But I know, just like when it comes to a child, when you're trying to wean a child off things, you have to slowly, in Kiswahili say kidogo kidogo, slowly, little by little, wean them off of what they do. So no, I'm not going to come from respect, even though I believe we should be strong-minded enough to choose life over death. But I'm reasonable and I'm compassionate to understand that it's not that easy. So the first thing you want to do when you're trying to transition is you have to change your environment. You have to change your environment. I was talking to somebody the other day, and it was like, I'm about to start this cleanse, so I had bought all this food, so I want to make sure that I clear that food out before I start that cleanse. And everything in me want to say, oh man, throw that food out. Throw that food out. You need to start this cleanse now. And truth be told, they do need to start now, because they have a chronic illness. But me understanding the psyche of our people, I know it takes time for us to build up that type of resistance of self. It takes us to build up that discipline for ourselves. It takes us to build up that love for ourselves. So I understand that may not be easy. And then you got to factor in people's money, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm like, okay, I get it. What you can start to do is start to eliminate day by day. So the first thing, so I'm bringing that up because she realized even in that, she got to remove certain things and substances out of her environment for her to even start cleansing properly. So even in that, that was a lesson for me. She realized that I got to remove this food first before I get to the cleanse. Because believe it or not, you can be in the cleanse and your environment is negative and you still don't heal. I've seen it. I've had a client who went on 30 days of fruit, and I'm talking about went on that joint. But her environment played a major part on why she could not heal. Her thinking played a major part, which is also an environment of why she could not heal. I'm talking about herbs. She was on herbs. She drinking a gallon of water a day, and she on all fruits for 30 days and no healing happened. It took me 3 days to sit there and think about like, dang, what happened? What's going on? And here's the crazy part. And I said this before, if y'all been following me, I had these two people, these two clients, had the same exact disease. Same exact disease. Both on the same exact herbs, both on the same exact healing path as far as fruits. One of them healed, one of them didn't. When I got down to asking them, examine, what were you doing during your time? The one who healed said she changed her environment. She was listening to positive music. She was listening to gospel. She got off social media. She didn't watch TV for 30 days. The other one, she struggled. She didn't eat as much food as she should have. She drank her gallon of water a day. She took her herbs every day, but she was in a negative mindset almost every single day. And this is what she told me. And then it clicked to me. And this was 2 years ago. It clicked to me. Oh man, her environment was key to her healing. Because remember, everything around you, just like food, is energy. It's a source. It's a source of energy. So remember, energy can cancel each other out when it's not in its proper environment to flourish. So your environment plays a major, major role. So yes, that's talking about your house too. Is your house clean? Are you a person who's filthy? You leave your dishes everywhere. You got pillows everywhere. You got clothes everywhere. You don't wake up and make your bed. Believe it or not, these are all part of cleansing. Because I always tell my children this. Your room is a reflection of your spirit. I'm going to say it again. I wholeheartedly believe this. Your room, your house, is a reflection of your spirit. It really is. It really defines who you are. Because if you can walk around a place that's filthy, that needs cleaning, and you don't even consider if this is right or wrong, that's how you feel about yourself. That's how you feel about relationships. That's how you feel about friendships. That's how you feel about business-ships. That's what you feel about anything in contact with you, because what that shows is you're not discerning. You're not discerning if this is the great environment for you. You're not even realizing or considering, can you even flourish in this environment? And then you wonder why everything around you when it comes to people and things is a reflection of your actual house. So your environment plays a major role in that. Who you talk to during that time. And I always tell my clients this. Get you a support group. When you're cleansing, get you a people who's going to push you and support you and give you positive message. Because remember, words is power. Words is energy and vibration. So yes, words can also be healing as well. How do we know this? You got people who do affirmations, affirming oneself. And you're speaking life into yourself. For those who follow the Bible, it says the tongue has the power of life and death. It was words that created the earth. You see that? It was words that made covenant. It was words that caused a person to fall in love. You see that? So words have power, believe it or not. You know, we know some of us grew up on, what's the saying? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words would never defy me or something like that. But that's a lie. Because words are more powerful than sticks and stones. It really is. That's the most powerful muscle in the body. So what you listen to, who you listen to, is also part of your healing. So you need to start transitioning even your conversation. The way you speak should start to transition when you're talking about going to a plant-based living diet life. Because all this is talking about life. When you're cleansing, you're choosing life. So you want to make sure that anything around you is speaking or imputing in you life. You see that? So if you have a negative conversation, you're around women or men who always talking negative about a brother or sister or cussing all the time, you need to get away from that, because that can stop your healing. That can slow down your healing. So that's the two things. You need to change your environment. You need to clean your house. Some people call it a ritual, different thing like that. Whatever you want to call it, you need to cleanse your house. Second thing is you need to cleanse your friends. Meaning you need to, when you're cleansing, you need to look around and see who's right for you and who's wrong for you. Who can be a benefit to your cleanse and who can be a hindrance. Okay? Next thing, the music you listen to. You need to start transitioning to the music that speaks life and not death. You should not be listening to songs talking about killing nigga. You should not be listening to songs about F a bitch. You shouldn't be listening to none of them songs. You shouldn't be listening to none of them songs talking about rob somebody, none of that. Because that's a low vibration. That's a negative vibration. It can bring you down. It can cause thoughts to be provoked within you. And it can literally cause you to fail. Because most of that music, it's only promoting two things that will cause you to even fall. And that's sex and alcohol. And those are the two things you shouldn't even be doing while you cleansing. Yeah, when you're cleansing, you should not be having sex. Why is that? Because when you have sex, especially for my men, when you're having sex, you got to understand. And you're detoxing. Now remember, if you follow me long enough, I said when you're cleansing, parasites, heavy metals, toxins, acids, they try to find any way out. Wherever there's a hole at, peep this out, wherever there's a hole at, they will try to escape. So imagine that you're detoxing. You got all them toxins. You're detoxing. You got all those toxins. You got all those heavy metals. You got all those acids. And you sitting there having sex while you cleansing. Not only are you now removing those acids from you, but you're now dumping those acids into a sister, which can cause her to be at dis-ease too, which can be something like herpes. Yes. See, you gotta understand what herpes is. Herpes is what? It's a worm. It's a worm. It's bad bacteria. It's a worm. So now, and guess what? If that worm decides to come out, guess where it's going? And now you done put this sister's life in danger because you wanted to get your rocks off while cleansing, which really you should have been separating yourself the whole time. You see that? Because you shouldn't even be distracted while cleansing. See, that's another problem we have. When we're cleansing, we want to be distracted. We want something to distract us from that hunger. We want something to distract us from that pain. When really you should be embracing it. You should be embracing it. And then that should be a lesson of, what did I do to even get in this situation? And reflect on it. And then you should go through the things of what you won't do again to get in this situation. So we got to stop running from ourselves too. And sometimes we got to put our pleasures, our lust on hold so that we can do what we need to do to live longer. There should be no reason that the death or the life age of our people, especially a black man, is 60 years old. It's 60 years old. You see that? When really a full life is 120. So now our life is cut in half because of our environment and what we're consuming within our environment. You have two environments. You have an external environment and you have an internal environment. And your external environment is a reflection of your internal environment. Even how you speak is a reflection of your internal environment. If you speaking nothing but hate, if you sitting here cussing all the time, if you sitting here got issues with people, you slandering and having all these negative words to say, all you doing is reflecting what's going on inside. And you're showing how much you hate yourself by how you hate your brother or sister. You see that? How you eating and you're indulging in food. You're gluttonous. You constantly got the fork in your mouth. That's a reflection of how you are inside. When you see somebody gluttonous, that is a form of depression. If y'all didn't know that. Somebody gluttonous, that's a form of depression because now they're using food for comfort. They're using food for comfort. So see, you can't even remove your emotions from food. When you're happy, you want to eat. When you're sad, you want to eat. When you're depressed, you want to eat. When you're angry, you want to drink. You see that? When you're angry, you want to smoke. So you can't even detach your emotions from substance because it's the substance that provokes your emotion. You see that? It is the substance that provokes your emotion. When you drunk, right? What you want to do? You want to have sex or you want to fight. You want to get your freak on or you want to bust a brother's head. When you high, you want to sleep. You got the munchies. You see that? It's provoking an emotion. So that's why when it comes to transition, you have to change your environment. If that means you need to write a list down. What is it that I need to change for me to get to this lifestyle? And then you need to start crossing those things out one by one. That's the steps you need to take when transitioning. Before even going to that lifestyle of plant-based living or cleansing yourself, you need to check off everything in your list before going into it because it will disrupt your cleansing. It will disrupt your cleansing. You watching certain movies will disrupt your cleansing. When I went on my first fruit cleanse, I eliminated TV, I eliminated sex, I eliminated music. You see that? I eliminated social media. And all it was me, the Most High, my thoughts, my cleansing, and I would journal. I would journal my journey. Because that's how dedicated I was to cleansing. When I finally did it, and it took me years to do it. When I finally did it, I eliminated everything. And it was the greatest decision, one of the greatest decisions I ever made in my life. Because I started to train and transition my mind to start to see the toxicity within myself. I started to see the acidic thoughts in the environment. I created around myself because now I could think soberly. I wasn't thinking with emotion no more. Now I can think with clarity and discernment and see that I created a toxic environment around myself and didn't even realize it. And I would overconsume foods. I would overconsume wine and different things of that nature to not deal with the things that was around me. So with the cleansing, it made me deal with it. With the cleansing, it made me see my reality. And I had the choice to change it. See, we got to stop thinking that healing is only food. Whoever teaching that healing is only food is lying to you. They're lying to you. It's more than that. It's way more than that. And you got to start making decisions. And this is how you transition. As far as how to transition to a plant-based living lifestyle, it's simple. Start to eliminate things week by week. If you sit here eating meat every freaking day, okay, make it 3 days a week. There's 7 days in a week, right? If you eat, let's say you eating meat 7 days out of the week. Okay, we'll cut it down every 2 days, every week. So next week, let's say this week, you only eat meat for 7 days. The following week, you should only be on meat for 5 days. The week after that, 3 days. You see what I'm saying? Then start to kind of regulate yourself at that point. And after 2 weeks, go to 2 days. After another 2 weeks, go to 1 day. And by the time you get to that 1 day, you should be only on fruits, vegetables, grains, some bread. Start really implementing herbs. It's going to actually take away that addictive hunger, because that's all it is. It ain't that you really hungry. It's just you've been overstimulated so much. The moment you actually start to cut back, you feel hungry, but you're not really hungry. It's your thoughts that's hungry, not your belly. Because your belly literally can live off 1 meal a day. You see that? So that's how you can start transitioning. Start just eliminating stuff week by week by week by week. And you do it with intention. And you do it with a purpose and plan that you're trying to get off these things and wean yourself off. The second, or third, or fourth thing you need to do, get around a community that's already doing it. Let me tell you, a lot of what I talk about has been through experience. I'm gonna give you an example. When I really started to commit to a plant-based lifestyle, there was a lot of people around me still eating a lot of meat. A lot of people around me still eating cheese, dairy, and all that type of stuff. So I would battle a lot with myself, these foods around me. You know what I'm saying? Because at the time, I was really the only one. I mean, it may have been like 1 or 2 people, but I was really the only one who was vegan. and it was kind of tough. But then when I started to get involved with my brothers, where we started, it was in April, March 2020 in Kinder Gardens Academy. When I started to get more involved in gardening and nature and farming, and I was around brothers and sisters who was plant-based and were talking about the life and talking about how much it makes them alive and just this happy, energetic, positive energy, I realized in that moment the thoughts was not there to eat meat. The thoughts was not there to consume dairy. The thoughts was not there contemplating if I really wanted to live this life. They were gone. And that made me realize in that moment, your environment plays a major part on your growth, your health, and your development. It really does. I used to hear this quote, especially when I was into a lot of sales and network marketing. Who did I hear it from? It was either Will Smith or Denzel Washington. They said a quote. It says, "Show me your 5 friends and I'll show you your future." And I heard it, right? And at the time, I was just thinking about, business, doing business. But as I grew and matured more and I started to really get into it, I realized he was saying that those 5 people are your environment. And that environment was going to define your future. So if you're around people who constantly eating certain things or talking certain negative, if you stay there long enough, you will start to conform back to that life. You see that? If you're around people who talking negative, who sitting here just sleeping with women, not committing, getting drunk all the time, smoking all the time, if you're around, especially, and mind you, keep in mind, I'm talking about transition period. I'm not talking about when you're fully matured into this life and you got your feet ground. I'm talking about people who transitioning. Imagine you're around people who sitting here fornicating, just sleeping with women, drinking all day, smoking, et cetera, et cetera. You're around there long enough, you will start to conform back to that life. It's inevitable. For our sisters, if you've been around positive sisters, or you turn into a positive woman, you start to dress more modest and respect yourself and love yourself, and you start to get around sisters who just dressing half naked and talking about Negroes and how many Negroes they got and calling each other the B words, et cetera, you will conform, if you stay there long enough, back to that life. Because it is your environment, which your environment is your culture, that plays a major role on your character, your development, and your health. This is why you have people creating healing centers. Because it's not just about the food, it's about the environment itself as well. It plays a major role. Why do you think the hospitals do this? The hospitals, if y'all never realize, the hospitals not only purposely make the hospital white, but they also put you in linen clothes. Why do they put you in linen clothes? Because linen is the only fabric which is made from flax plant that actually is that can actually connect and is compatible with the cells of the skin that actually can produce healing. Linen is the only fabric in the world that's compatible with the human genetic cells that can actually produce healing. This is why hospitals use linen in the hospital. This is why they use white walls, because white reflects what? It reflects purity. It reflects light itself. It reflects healing. It reflects God. It reflects the divine. Corey, what's going on, God? Peace, love, light. Peace, love, and light, my brother. My brother out here ascending. Hey, man, I love the video, too, bro. Like, you always be making me almost drop tears with your videos, bro. But I love you, man. Keep up the good work. See, like that. People are now coming into that transitional role of understanding. Because you got to understand, America itself is a business. America itself is an entity. It's a business. And so for America to even produce and continue to excel the way it does, it must create an environment where it does testing. It does testing. So we be thinking that the racks is the only test. If you actually look and see what a project is, the original projects by its name, It was an area or environment used to test subjects to see that the product that they were trying to produce, if it worked. You see that? It was a test area to see if the product they was trying to produce worked. So when we sitting here thinking that everything is good, not really realizing that we the rat. We the rat in the maze. Simple as people who got, now I got to the point where people who got felonies, people who got child support issues, they can't even leave the country no more. It's a maze with many different layers. And people are now starting to unravel these layers and come up out of her. Not just physically, but spiritually and psychologically too. See, you gotta understand, the chain's been broken a long time ago. They did an experiment about 40 years ago. No, 50 years ago with some rats. And in this experiment, they created this environment for these rats, bro. Like it was so bad. They had one project where they literally created, it was illuminated light around it. They gave them good food. They was even exercising the rats, right? And then the other rat, it was dark. They gave them terrible food. They played this loud ass music. And those rats started to destroy each other. But the rats that was in the light, they actually started to work together. So now when the rat that was in the dark hole, that was in that environment of chaos, that was destroying each other with the bad food, when they finally opened the cage so that they can come into the light, the rat stayed in the dark. The rat stayed in the dark. You see that? Didn't even want to come out to the light, the marvelous light. It wanted to stay in the dark. And that's a lot of us when it comes to the American system. You see, I'm at a place right now where I'm not going to continue to look at skin. It's bigger than skin, because at the end of the day, you got Negroes with Eurocentric minds too at this point. So it's not even about skin at this point. This is about a system. This is about a system. And this system don't give a damn what you look like, even for its own people. You see that? They're just trying to make money. They're trying to harvest. They're trying to be the powers that be for eternity. And we sitting here letting them. We sitting here letting them. And that's because we are that rat that don't want to come out the darkness. And this is the part of the transition, coming out to the darkness into the marvelous light. Well, first of all, you got to allow the light to expose the infirmities and the toxicity within you first. Take the mirror test. Okay, let's give an example. If I have diabetes, right? I got to first figure out what caused me to get diabetes. What caused me to get diabetes? If I got high blood pressure, what's actually spiking my blood pressure? And see, I can go into a deeper conversation of that, because that's even dealing with genetics. But I want to keep it very simple, because I don't want to be too much for y'all to understand. I don't want to be too much for y'all to understand that there's a cause and effect. There's a reaping and sowing. As within, so without. This is simple. Hey, when I started to really break this thing down, I realized how simple healing was. Remove the problem, and the healing will start. I promise y'all, it's that simple. Remove the problem, whether that be substance or people or things, and the healing will start. How do I know that? Because the minute we take somebody off meat, even if they still on grains, even if they still on bread, they will start to lose weight. Then we start to eliminate the breads and the starches and the dairy, they will lose more weight. Then we start to put them on certain foods like vegetables and fruit, they start thinking straight. Then we just put them on fruits, not a skin glowing, they feeling vibrant. They actually starting to love nature again. They starting to love people again. So we see when we start to transition certain things out of the environment, the person starts to transition within a new environment. Remember, it says what? You cannot put new wine into an old bottle. Nor can you put old garments with new. Because it's like anything else. The old will always cancel out the new. You have to separate and eliminate the old for the new to even come in. No different than this. I always use this analogy with my children. If I have 10 apples And one apple is a bad apple. It starts to rot. If I leave it there long enough, what will happen to the rest of the apples? Can anybody answer that? If I got 10 apples and I leave, and then one of the apples is rotten and it's going bad, and I leave it around the other 9 apples, what will happen to the other 9 apples? Can anybody answer that? Anybody? It's a simple answer. Because I'm trying to show y'all how simple healing is. I'm trying to show you how simple choosing life over death is. I'm trying to show you how simple loving yourself more than hating yourself is. It's better to love yourself better than hating yourself. It's that simple. You got to eliminate. I made this quote up and said this: eat to eliminate, eliminate to live. I'm going to say it again. Eat to eliminate, eliminate to live. Because if you understand the function of the body, it must eliminate for anything to even come forth new in there. It must eliminate for new life to come in there. Otherwise, if you keep that death that's eroding in your body in, on top and continue to put new things, it will start to shut the body out. So you must eliminate for you to live. You must eliminate for new life to come in. You cannot keep the old in. So you eat to eliminate and eliminate to live. Eat to eliminate and eliminate to live. And I want y'all to put that in your everyday life. Because eating is not just food. Eating is vibrations, is music. Eating is absorbing what people are saying. Eating is what you're watching on TV. That's eating. So now put that in perspective of everything in your life. Eat to eliminate, eliminate to live. Eat to eliminate, eliminate to live. You cannot come into the kingdom of God unless you come as a child, a reborn child. So that means somebody must die for you to live. That's in every aspect. Something or somebody must die for you to live. So in this case, you must die for you to live. To give that inner child, that young child that didn't get a chance because they didn't know nothing and wasn't taught nothing, to live again. It's that simple, y'all. I promise y'all it's that simple. Healing is that simple. Transitioning is that simple. The only hard part is you believe in yourself. The only hard part is, are you disciplined enough to love yourself enough to see you live in a prosperous life? The healing is that simple. And when I start breaking this thing down for real on a cellular level to people, they be like, man, is that easy? I'm like, yes, it's that easy. I didn't think it was that easy either until my teacher at the time had told me, like, slow down. Just really go section by section on the body and really start to break it down. And when I started to break it down, I'm like, dang, this is easy. This really is easy. You see that? It's that easy. The hard part is, can we deny ourselves enough? A lot of us around here got children. And the way we going with our life, if we don't change our life and start to eliminate so that we can live, we won't live long enough to be able to even run with our children. Men dying at 60 years old, 55 years old. Women barely making them to 65, 70. And that's only by way because women get a monthly cycle and they get to cleanse at least. That's not life, y'all. That's not quality. I don't care nobody. That's not quality, y'all. That's not quality, nor is it quantity. That's not quality, nor is it quantity. Because you get these type of people. Well, I know somebody who ate meat and and they lived till they were 85. But then they turn around and say, well, they was on dialysis, they were sick, they had this and that at the age of 45, 50. Listen to what you just said. They lived at 85. They was on a meat. Yet they was on dialysis. They was on prescription. They had diabetes. They had to do this and that at the age of 45. And you telling me that's living? We can't be serious. We can't be serious. That's not living, man. That's not living. You're a child at that point. If you have to be dependent on something at that age, you're now a child. You become a child. I'll be damned if I'm 40 or 45, 50 years old and somebody have to wipe my ass because I'm not able enough to wipe my own ass. That's not life, man. That's not life. That's not life, y'all. It's not. You were a child between the ages of 1 and 20. There's no reason at the age of 50 or 60 you're still being treated as a child because you didn't do the right things between the ages of 20 and 60 years old. We got to stop this, y'all. We really do. So this is how you transition. You have to change your environment. You have to change what you eat. You cannot sit there and change what you eat without changing your environment. They go hand in hand. I always say this: change the people or change the people. Change the people or change the people. You gotta have solid, strong, independent people around you who gonna uplift you. There's no way you can be in an environment trying to heal when there's still so much negativity around you. You got to change the environment or change the environment. You got to. That's simple. It's that simple. Change the environment or change the environment. Change the people or change the people. That's how you heal. When a man is seeking wisdom, he's been caused to separate himself. Why? Because he got to make sure that he got clarity and sober thoughts while seeking. You can't do that with distractions. You can't do that with negative vibrations. You can't do that with sick people who all they doing is spewing sick thoughts on you. Because if you're like those 9 apples, if you stay around that rotten apple long enough, you become rotten. Look, I didn't believe the saying until about 2 years ago, birds of a feather flock together. I strongly believe that now. I strongly believe that now. Because your environment defines who you are. Why? Because your environment is a reflection of your culture. Your culture produces your personality, your characteristics, your integrity, your principles, your way of life. So now when you put that in perspective of your health, and I already posted this on my story, when you look at health, why is health synonymous with the word shalom? Well, shalom, by the way, don't mean peace. Shalom actually means health and completeness. Ooh-wee. Having all your faculties together. That's what shalom means. Having all your faculties together. Being in harmony and balance and completeness. Well, completeness, you got to have a mind, body, and soul in one. And these 3 agree in one. So now if one is off balance, that means the whole what? The whole body is off balance. If thine eye be single, then the whole body is full of light. If thine eye be dark, the whole body is full of darkness. When you go into that word eye, it means mind. And this is why y'all see me always saying, cleanse the mind and the body will follow. Cleanse the mind and the body will follow, because your first environment is your mind. Your second environment is your gut. Your third environment is your heart. Your fourth and final environment is your external. It's the external. That's 4 pillars, y'all. 4 pillars. Mind, heart, gut, external environment. That's 4 pillars that you stand on. So if your mind is unclean, that means your gut unclean. If your gut unclean, that means your heart unclean. Why? Because it's stressed the hell out. If your heart is stressed the hell out, it's because your environment is causing stress. Your environment causes stress. Your mind stressed out, therefore you eat stress food. That stress food stresses out the organs. Ooh-wee. Reaping what you sow. So the first seed is getting planted in your mind. The harvest is the outcome. The first seed is planted in your mind. The harvest is the outcome. So if you sitting here drinking all the time because you want to get your rocks off, you want to party all the time, and then later on you got a messed up liver and gallbladder, that's your harvest. That's your harvest. If you want to sit here and listen to sexual music all the time, and then you sitting out here having sex with all these type of people, and the harvest is herpes, you've harvested, you have invested in herpes. You can't get mad if somebody get you herpes. You shouldn't probably been sleeping with them in the first place. They ain't your wife or your husband. You shouldn't have probably been sleeping with them in the first place. Don't know their mother, don't know if they got children, don't know if they sober-minded, don't know where they at spiritually, but yet because you was influenced by a low vibration that want to just stick its sting in anything, you have now invested in herpes. We got to stop blaming everybody for all of our problems when it's us. If you overweight, it's your fault. If you sit here smoking, it's your fault. If you sit here drinking, it's your fault. If you caught a disease, it's your fault. And that's the first step of healing is admitting your faults. Confess your faults to one another and let the fervent prayers of the saints prevail so that you may be healed. Power, words is healing. You see that? You got to first open up and admit that you messed up. So now, since you don't want to open up and admit the truth, you're sitting there compressing and suppressing that sickness that you know in your mind in them organs. You're starting to shut your organs down. You're starting to stress out your nervous system. You're starting to stress out your cerebral, your pineal gland. All this, man. All of this. All of this. This is dealing with your health, man. So I'm teaching y'all this because y'all got to understand it's bigger than food. I'm getting tired of people talking about, oh, just get on this or just transition this. No, we got to get people's minds out of thinking it's the food that's the healing. It's not. The food is the help. The herbs is the help. You see that? It is your mind. It is your mind in alignment with the Creator that brings healing. And then the healing rains down. And then those things become a benefit to you. But you got to first turn away from those things that cause your sickness. That's how you transition. Turning away from that which has harmed you. Turning away from that which has steered you wrong. Turning away from that which have brought you into a dark place. You see that? It's no different than when somebody going crazy or something, they put them in a little slit jacket and they put them in this soft, comfortable room, almost built like pillows. Because they're trying to create an environment, and it's light. Everything is white. So they're trying to create an environment not only provoking enlightenment and calmness to you, but to create a soft environment that you don't have to feel like you need to harm yourself. See that? Look, y'all gotta understand the system know what the hell they doing. The system know what the hell they doing. It's us that don't know what the hell we doing, and that's because we don't know ourselves. We are letting the people who don't know us treat us, huh? We're letting people who don't know us treat us, man. And we got to cut that out. We really need to start setting up institutions of healing. We need to start setting up institutions of education, because that's the only way to really start to shift the minds and consciousness of the people. We got to educate ourselves. We really do. We got to educate ourselves on how to get our structure back, because it is clear that the black man and black woman and black child, I'm saying this on record, we do not fit into the American system. That is a system not built for us to thrive. It's not created for us to thrive. I'm talking about as a people. I'm not talking about a few individuals. That's not success, y'all. We got to stop crediting that. We think because we got a few individuals that got money, that the black people have reached success. No, we didn't. It's more people sick and broke than people who got money. And we literally sitting here, we're parading that. We're happy about that. We're happy about that. And I'm not saying that they are our leaders. And I'm not saying that they should be fully held accountable. But for anybody who's proclaiming to be a leader or the face of the black community, yeah, there's going to be some demands. Like, hey, if you sitting here making a way, you should be making a way for other people. And that's just me. I'm not at that level. You know what I'm saying? But even where I'm at now, if I'm moving a certain way, I'm going to pour back into my community and make sure that there's others who can also can rise too. Lifting as we climb. You know what I'm saying? Lifting as we climb. I learned that 9 years ago. Lift as we climb. It shouldn't be a thing, let me get to this certain level, then I come back. Nah. Once you get to a certain level, you should be going back and showing other people how to get to the next level. So by the time you're really ready to turn around, you done help about 5, 10, 50, 100, 1,000 people who going to keep getting that thing going. Can you repeat the health and shalom thing again? I was saying that when you look into the Hebrew, for anybody who studied the language, when you look into the Hebrew for the word health, it is very synonymous with shalom. And when you look into shalom, one of the root strong definitions is completeness. So you cannot separate health from completeness, because health is part of your completeness. And when you look up the word health, health has everything to do with your mind, your body, and your soul. So if your soul is off balance or imbalanced, you know what I'm saying, which in return is going to eventually knock your mind off, you are imbalanced. And we understand the scriptures say what? A false balance is an abomination. So we want to be balanced. We want to have that homeostasis. You see that? We want to have that da'at. If y'all don't know what da'at is actually a Hebrew word for knowledge. Knowledge is what? Knowledge is a two root word. Know means to obtain information or obtain something. Ledge means to apply that which you know. You see that? So we want to apply that. We want to apply what we know so we can have that da'at. We want to apply what we know so we can have that shalom, that completeness, the faculties in line, that health. We want to have that. You see that? So yes, that is part of what you eat. Otherwise, if what we, and this will be blowing my mind when people try to separate soul or spirituality or completeness with food. You can't separate it from food. How is that? Because if food was separated from a person's spirituality or well-being or soul, Adam would have never got a diet in the beginning. If that had nothing, then he was so-called a spiritual being, a light being, an enlightened, illuminated person, and he was given a certain livid food in the beginning. So if it had nothing to do with that, he would have never got that. He would have just been on nothing but air, the oxygen from the trees. But no, he was given a specific diet, a livid food, even as a light being and an illuminated person. So no, you cannot separate your food, your physiology from your psychology or your spirituality. You just can't do it. It's all attached to the same thing. Why? Because what you eat can affect your thoughts, and your thoughts can cause you to go against nature, go against the grain, which in turn would then start to pierce or attack your spirituality. It's simple math. Think about this. And we always say it. When Negroes sitting here eating fried chicken, I'm going to see who got the answer. When Negroes sitting here eating fried chicken, macaroni, potato salad, all the starches in the world, what's the first thing Negroes say once they get done? Let me see who got the answer. When Negroes get done eating some fried chicken, some potato salad, some mac and cheese, and Hawaiian bread, what is the first thing Negroes say once they get done? Let's see who got the answer. I want to see who got the answer to this one. What's the first thing we say? What is the first thing we say? After eating some fried chicken, some macaroni, some Hawaiian bread, some potato salad, you know what I'm saying? You said nap time, seconds, both of those, but what Negroes like, man, I got the itis. I got the nigga-itis. I got the itis. Here's the crazy part. Negroes is so ignorant. If you actually look up right now, the etymology of the word itis on a medical term, the word means inflammation. Ooh-wee. It means inflammation. So after Negroes get done eating that fried, cooked food, that good old slithery macaroni dripped up cheese with that soft old Hawaiian bread and that potato salad that grandma done whipped up for the last 20 hours, the first thing they say is, I got inflammation. Because that's what itis is. It's inflammation. Arthritis, colonitis, right? Inflammation. It's inflammation. So Negroes out here literally saying ignorantly, after eating these foods, I got the itis. I got the Negro itis. I'm an inflamed Negro. Hey, it gotta make sense, man. It really do. It really gotta make sense. We literally are saying we are inflamed. We are saying we are inflamed after eating some fried chicken. Now, let me ask y'all something. Now, I've never heard it, but I'm going to ask y'all. Have y'all ever heard somebody eating fruits or eating a veggie wrap say, man, I got the itis. I got the itis. I've never heard it in my life. In all my years now of being plant-based vegan, I've never heard in my life somebody who eat fruits and veggies say, I got the itis. If anything, I'll be hearing, oh, it's time to get back to work. What we doing next? Shoot, I can go for other rounds. I've never heard a plant-based vegan say, I got the itis. I haven't heard it. I haven't heard it. So that tells you a difference. Even by, again, speech. Even our speech starts to turn different. Now you seeing brothers saying peace, love, and light, healing, prosperity, abundance. You see the speech is starting to change within the black community. You see it, but you don't see it as much as you used to. You don't see brothers out here saying nigga or women calling each other bitches. You see, what's up, queen? What's up, king? What's up, God? What's going on? You speaking life, shalom, shalom aleichem, peace be unto you. You see even the speech is starting to change as the diet's starting to change. And the speech is changing because the mind is changing. And the mind is changing because we are remembering ourselves in the land of our captivity. No longer conforming to our environment, but we are changing our environment back to the ancient path. Back to the ancient path. It's time to wake up, y'all, and start to transition to who you are. So that's why I say how to transition to cleanse and plant-based living. You see, I made a difference between the two. Because we got to start cleansing from this system. We got to start cleansing the Eurocentric thoughts and ideologies and education out of our minds. We got to start cleansing the Eurocentric methods of relationships and family structure out of our minds and get back to our African Hebraic Bantu way. You see that? We got to start getting back to us. Because we were a people who always was about abundance, about peace, about joy, about long suffering, about happiness, about gentleness, about the spirit. About the spirit. And it was our fault that we failed. I ain't about to blame nobody else. It was our fault that we failed. Nobody else's. We wanted to start to be like other people. We wanted to start to be like other nations. We wanted to mix and mingle our cultures with them. We wanted to speak their tongue. And here's the crazy part. The tongue that they speak and they learn from us. They took multiple different versions of our languages, meshed them together to create English. So you gotta understand, we are literally the original organic people of this earth. It is our inheritance to have this earth. But we gotta start first taking care of the earth within ourselves. Well, I don't think y'all caught that. It is our inheritance to be stewards, to be the Elohim, the gods, and have dominion over this earth. But we got to first be the gods and have dominion over our own earth within our own selves. Because your earth is your belly. Your earth is your belly. And it will either yield life or it will yield death. It can invoke famine. Or it can invoke abundance. But your body will tell on you. Whew. Hey, I'll tell my rib this. Two things you can't lie to. You can't lie to God and you can't lie to your body. You can lie to everybody else. You can lie to your mama, your father, your wife, your husband, your children, everybody in your family, your friends. But you can't lie to God and you cannot lie to your body. That's crazy, right? I don't know who this is, but I'm going to shout them out because as we're talking about this, their name popped in. Separation before elevation. Wow, that's divine. Separation before elevation. That's a fact. That's a fact. I don't even know who that is, but that name is powerful. Separation before elevation. You got to separate yourself, cleanse yourself before being elevated. You do. Y'all seen it when somebody start to cleanse and they start to separate themselves and start to eliminate certain things. One of the first things you start to see elevate is their skin, is their mindset. You see that? Is their environment. We got to start transitioning from this world, family. Although we're in the world, we are not of the world. We are first spirit. We are the illuminated children. We are the organic family. Keep that in mind, organic. We live in a synthetic, acidic environment, but we are the organic people. Make that make sense? Make that make sense? We are the original organic, illuminated children, yet we are sitting here comfortable in a synthetic, acidic environment that's contrary to our well-being. Make that make sense? It don't. So I hope y'all got some understanding on what we were saying. Transition, family. Start to evaluate and examine your surroundings. Start to question your surroundings and ask yourself. And it's okay to question. Ask yourself, is this a benefit to my growth? Is this a benefit to my healing? Can I pull positivity out of this? And if the answer is no, it gotta be let go. If the answer is no, it gotta be let go. You see that? It got to. Because that is the only way we're going to start truly elevating and coming into that purpose and mandate that we supposed to fulfill on this earth. We got to eliminate the trash. We got to eliminate the parasites and the Judacites. See how I said that? The parasites and the Judacites. We got to start eliminating. That was the problem with a lot of the revolutionary movements. They wasn't removing the parasites. The Judacites, let me say. So when they got killed off and their movement died down, it's because they wasn't creating the right system for it to flourish. And you're going to always have that. You're going to always have certain people around. But we need to learn from history. You see that? We need to learn from history. And start asking yourself, am I doing anything today that was taught to us in slavery? How many of y'all ask yourself that every day? Am I doing anything today that was taught to me in slavery? And if it was taught to me in slavery, does it have any type of origin or root in my culture before slavery? And if the answer is no, it got to go. It got to go, family. It got to. We got to stop being hoarders, man. Culture hoarders. We got to stop being spiritual hoarders, y'all. Holding on to things that no benefit to us. We got to stop doing that, man. We are cultural hoarders. We are spiritual hoarders. We hold on to things no one is doing damage to us. We are like and I hate using this example, but it's the best example. We are like a woman who keep getting beat and trying to figure out why they should still stay and love that person. It makes no sense. The evidence is there that the abuse is there. And you have enough common sense to know that beating me is not love. That's the black community. We are as a battered woman who is trying to figure out a way to stay and convince herself why she loves that person. That is the black community. But just like we need to start being like the one woman in Diary of a Mad Black Woman. She started playing grit ball. And she figured out it's time to go. Same thing with the black community. We need to start playing some grit ball. It's time to go. It's time to go, family. It's time to spiritually, psychologically, and even physically, once you get past those two levels, to go. The house is burning right now. The house is burning right now. If you ain't seeing it, you better wake the hell up. It's burning right now. It's going down. And we need to be sitting here cleansing, healing, turning back to the Creator, organizing as a collective, and do what we always did in history. Survive the famine. Survive the chaos. Survive the atrocity. We always been a people like that. Always. If you look in history, that's why we don't die, we multiply. We always been the people who went back to nature to survive. That's one of the main things missing in the black community. The reason why a lot of us gonna have issues because we are not connected back with nature. We don't know how to make our clothes from nature. We don't know how to make our food from nature. A lot of us don't know how to make fires from nature. We don't know how to build houses from nature. We don't know how to sleep in nature. Even for my brothers and sisters who eat meat, you don't know how to gut a fish. You don't know how to catch a fish. You don't know how to raise cattle. We out here struggling in every single way. Don't know how to plant a seed. Don't know when to plant a seed. Don't know how to till the ground and truly cultivate the land. We don't even know how to own land. We don't even know how to own a damn house. If you understood the structure of that, we sitting here buying a house, but didn't buy the land that's on there, nor did we buy the air. Because you know they do that now too. You got to buy the air. They charging Negroes for air now. They charging Negroes for air now. That's how capitalistic and monopolizing America is. They charging Negroes for air. They can't even figure out how to create themselves. And we fall for it. We fall for it. So with that, family, I'm about to get off. Unless somebody got some questions. What time is it? It's 9:33 p.m. here. So I'll give y'all like 3 minutes. If y'all got any questions when it comes to transitioning to a better lifestyle, a healing lifestyle, a cultural lifestyle, spiritual lifestyle, let me know. I'll give y'all 5 minutes. Shalom to the family. Free Brew. Ellery, what's going on? Shalom, shalom. Peace to everybody who checked in. I hope this was a good message for everybody. And I really hope that everybody start to transition, man. Everybody should transition. Everybody needs to start transitioning to nature. In some type of shape, way, or form. We need to start transitioning to nature, y'all. That's how we gonna make this. This is how we gonna survive this. What is the best way to find seeds to create our own community gardens? Perfect. Hey, y'all write this down. Y'all write this down. I'm going to give y'all a website. This is a sister, a very spiritual sister in America who sells organic seeds. Not GMOs. She don't use pesticides, herbicides, insecticides. I'm about to give y'all this website. Here we go. It's www.letsgrowthegardenlife.com. www.letsgrow, and that's without the W. So it's Let's Grow without the W, thegardenlife.com. Let's Grow thegardenlife.com. She sells organic seeds. Shalom, shalom, shalom. I appreciate you, brother. Always a great lesson, man. Much blessings to you, my brother. I wish nothing but abundance on everybody on this live. I wish nothing but abundance on everybody. I wish nothing but abundance, love, peace, joy, happiness, prosperity. I'm going to say it again. Completeness, health, wealth. I wish abundance on all y'all, man. On all y'all. I'll take one more question. I'll take one more question. Once we get the diet down, what is the next move us as a people should do? Once we get that down, we have to first we got to identify the problems within our community. I'm talking about where we're not sitting here blaming the white man. We're not sitting blaming nobody else, but we actually get to the inner problems of our people and what we can do to fix those problems by setting up programs, organized conferences, setting up spaces of healing. That's what we need to do next, because I believe from there we can start to organize and see in placement how to build community. But we cannot build community with hurt people. We can't build a community with broken people who can't think soberly and selflessly because they're too busy constantly on a daily basis dealing with their own issues. So we got to first get down. Once we start healing ourselves, we got to first get down to what's the major issues or all the issues within the Black community. And then tackle those one by one. So we got to understand, we got to do this strategically. They created a plan. Look, I heard this 3 days ago. I swear I'm going to take this. This elder brother said it took them 400 to 500 years to colonize us and destroy us. It's going to take a commitment of at least 500 years to cleanse us from the atrocities, the trauma, and the colonization that they have done upon us. So commitment is going to be key. Commitment is going to be key. Is protein a requirement, or what is the truth? What do you mean by that? Requirement as far as the plant-based lifestyle? Can you kind of elaborate a little bit more? Is that what you mean? Is that what you're talking about, Jen? Is protein a requirement, or what is the truth? Oh, you talking about overall health. Well, first of all, let me say this. What is protein? When you get into what is a protein, first of all, if you Google what protein is, not even the exact right definition, but I'm going to tell you what the simplistic medical term. The real term for protein is simple amino acids. When you understand what simple amino acids is, it is the minerals like potassium. You got people talking about vitamin B12, calcium, iron phosphate, phosphorus, magnesium, things of that nature. So now I'm gonna ask y'all this. I'm gonna ask y'all this question. For anybody who ever sold drugs before, or whoever did business, you know for a fact that you would rather have the actual plug than deal with a middleman, right? It's the same thing when it comes to your food. If that's what I need, if that's the main source I need, and I know those sources come straight from the earth, come straight from the ground, why do I need to have a middleman, aka me, when I can go straight to the source to get the protein or simple amino acid structures? So, to answer your question, yeah, simple amino acids is a requirement because it's the simple amino acids that actually help it's the building blocks of life that help you live. But do you have to, the question should be, is it required to eat meat to get the proteins? The answer is not only no, but hell no. You see that? Not only no, but hell no. Because again, I want the source. I don't need no middleman. I need to go to the source. So I hope that answers your question, Jen. So now, if one wants, let me answer this too, because this is always the follow-up question from anybody. Well, how do I build muscle on being plant-based? Well, first of all, you got to know again what protein is, and then see, here's the problem. People think because somebody's cut up or somebody's big that they're healthy. I've seen somebody that's built like The Rock that died from a heart attack. You see that? I've seen somebody built like The Rock that had a heart attack. So that shows you that it's more than your muscle, because a lot of the muscles that people walking around here is nothing but inflamed muscles with acid and all type of inflammation sitting on top of the muscle. So that's why when you cleanse, you really see your real muscle. What you see, that's not real muscle. That's inflammation. How do we know that? Because a lot of time when people work out, what are they releasing? Lactic acid. And a lot of time when people work out, what are they doing? Tearing their muscle. So you're building a swollen, inflamed muscle, and you thinking that's healthy. No, we are naturally built, don't get me wrong, but that's not the way you do it. You can build muscle or plant-based for simply something like hemp seeds, Brazilian nuts, walnuts, cashews, avocados, alfalfa leaf, alfalfa sprouts, gold sea moss. You could definitely build muscle the natural way. You got vegan bodybuilders out here. Look them up. Go to Google and type in vegan bodybuilders. You will see them. So I wanted to say that because that's usually like the follow. Oh, can I build muscle? Yeah, you can build muscle. Absolutely. But all right, y'all, I'm about to get out of here, man. I love y'all. Y'all stay safe. Y'all stay sober. Connect with people. Connect with people. Start organizing, collecting. Hey, look. The healing starts in your home. The healing starts in your home. It starts with your husband. It starts with your wife. It starts with your children. It starts with yourself. Once you got that structured, then you go into the community and bring more healing. This is what we got to start doing. We got to start getting back to healing our families, y'all. That's where you're going to start seeing major change. So let's get back to family structure. Family, tribe, nation, kingdom. Family, tribe, nation, kingdom. That's the order. You cannot skip steps. You cannot skip steps at all. So y'all stay safe, man. Push. Love yourself, man. Text those that you know. Tell I love you. I love you because who you are. We got to start pushing love back into the community, man. We really do. You know what I'm saying? Brothers got to stop being uncomfortable telling the brother you love him. I love all you. Ellery, I love you. You know what I'm saying? Judah, son, you know I love you, bro. Jen, I love you. Who else on here? I'm about to tell you, all y'all, I love you. One Boss, One Up Boosie, I love you. Noah Just a Vessel, I love you. Yeshai, I love you. Who else on here? Plant Master, I love you. Who else? King Connect, I love you. Brown Skin, I love you. Gospel DJ, I love Ellie, my little bruh, I love you. Shantae, I love you. I hope I said that correctly. Jay Rich, I love you. You know what I'm saying? I love all y'all. All y'all. Y'all stay strong. Dr. Makita, I love you. Queen, I love your husband as well. Yehuda, I love you. I love all y'all, man. Y'all stay positive. Spread love and not hate. You know what I'm saying? Spread love and not hate. That hate is going to kill you. Believe it or not, it literally restricts the organs. But love expands in abundance, y'all. So with that, I say I love y'all. Y'all have a good day. Y'all stay positive. Keep the Most High first. Keep love first. And continue to push forward in the building of the nation. Shalom, shalom.